Today I'm going to be reading a couple of stories from Frog and Toad because I really like this book series and I read it a lot as a kid, so I'm going to be reading it to you today. This first story is called Spring. Frog ran up the path to Toad's house. He knocked on the front door, but there was no answer. Toad, Toad, shouted Frog. Wake up, it's spring. Bleh, said a voice from inside the house. Toad, Toad, cried Frog. The sun is shining. The snow is melting. Wake up. I'm not here, said the voice. Frog walked into the house. It was dark. All the shutters were closed. Toad, where are you? Called Frog. Go away, said the voice from a corner in the room. Toad was lying in bed. He had pulled all the covers over his head. Frog pushed Toad out of the bed, pushed him out of the house and onto the front porch. Toad blinked in the bright sun. Help, said Toad. I cannot see anything. Don't be silly, said Frog. What you see is the clear warm light of April, and it means that we can begin a whole new year together, Toad. Think of it, said Frog. We'll skip through the meadows and run through the woods and swim in the river. In the evenings, we'll sit right here on this front porch and count the stars. You count them, Frog, said Toad. I'll be too tired. I'm going back to bed. Toad went back into the house. He got into bed and pulled the covers over his head again. But Toad, cried Frog, you'll miss the fun. Listen, Frog, said Toad. How long have I been asleep? You've been asleep since November, said Frog. Well then, said Toad. A little more sleep will not hurt me. Come back again and wake me at about past May. Good night, Frog. But Toad, said Frog, I'll be lonely until then. Toad did not answer. He had fallen asleep. Frog looked at Toad's calendar. The November page was still on top. Frog tore off the November page. He tore off the December page, and the January page, and the February page, and the March page. He came to the April page. Frog tore off the April page too. Then Frog ran back to Toad's bed. Toad, Toad, wake up, it's May now. What? Said Toad. Can it be May so soon? Yes, said Frog. Look at your calendar. Toad looked at the calendar. The May page was on top. Why, it is May, said Toad, as he jumped out of bed. Then he and Frog ran outside to see how the world was looking in the spring. This story is called The Story. One day in summer, Frog was not feeling well. Toad said, Frog, you're looking quite green. I always look green, said Frog. I am a frog. Today you look very green, even for a frog, said Toad. Get into my bed and rest. Toad made Frog a cup of hot tea. Frog drank the tea, and then he said, Tell me a story while I'm resting. All right, said Toad. Let me think of a story to tell you. Toad thought and thought. He could not think of a story to tell Frog. I will go out on the front porch and walk up and down, said Toad. Perhaps that will help me think of a story. Toad walked up and down on the porch for a long time. He could not think of a story to tell Frog. Then Toad went into the house and stood on his head. Why are you standing on your head? Asked Frog. I hope that if I stand on my head, it will help me think of a story, said Toad. Toad stood on his head for a long time, but he could not think of a story to tell Frog. Then Toad poured a glass of water on his head. Why are you pouring water on your head? Asked Frog. I hope that if I pour water on my head, it will help me think of a story, said Toad. Toad poured many glasses of water on his head, but he could not think of a story to tell Frog. Then Toad began to bang his head against the wall. Why are you banging your head against the wall? Asked Frog. I hope that if I bang my head against the wall enough, it'll help me think of a story, said Toad. I'm feeling much better now, Toad, said Frog. I do not think I need a story any more. Then you get out of bed and let me get into it, said Toad, because now I feel terrible. Frog said, Would you like me to tell you a story, Toad? Yes, said Toad, if you know one. Once upon a time, said Frog, there were two good friends, a frog and a toad. The frog was not feeling well. He asked his friend the toad to tell him a story. The toad could not think of a story. He walked up and down on the porch, but he could not think of a story. He stood on his head, but he could not think of a story. He poured water over his head, but he could not think of a story. He banged his head against the wall, but he could not think of a story. Then the toad did not feel so well, and the frog was feeling better. So the toad went to bed, and the frog got up and told him a story. The end. How was that, Toad? Said Frog. But Toad did not answer. He had fallen asleep.